What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live. It is a Wednesday show edition. Guess what day it is? It's Wednesday. You know what? We got a little bit of a topic for you guys to dive into today. I want you all, if you would, in the comment section, go ahead and give me your thoughts on this as we go through this. This may be the most important offseason in Detroit Lions recent history. And why is that? Because I do think there's a lot of pressure on this regime, this coaching staff, this front office. Hey, they've revitalized this team. They brought it from being the worst pro sports franchise out there in existence to, hey, being one of the better ones in the NFL, maybe one of the even prized ones in the NFL. But let's also face this. With success, expectations rise. People want more. And if you're a Lions fan, hey, 15-2 was real great. It was a great storyline. I think we all cut the team a little bit of slack because we get the coordinators may or may not have been distracted for the playoff game. The gajillion injuries on defense. Hey, we all get that too. It is what it is. You know, there's at some point you can only use so many guys off the street that were just hanging out at the Circle K, getting that delicious morning Mountain Dew and hot dog to come in and play defense before it really starts affecting things. With all that being said, this team, I think we all get it. You've got a lot of guys you've traded up for. You brought in as developmental pieces. At some point, you need to get a return on that investment. Otherwise, it's time to move on. And you could then say, Brad Holmes and this regime have rolled the dice on some opportunities and really missed on some strong opportunities. So during the main topic of the day, we're going to break down some of these guys, get your guys' expert opinions and thoughts on it. But before we get into that and the 5 headlines now, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Marching towards 13,200, and we're about 82 subs, somewhere right around that away. Also, if you have a free moment of time, reach on down, hit that like button, that whatever your thumbs up button, whatever it is. We try to get every episode between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. So if you could help out with that, that would be most welcome. Last but most certainly, never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan or the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see my number on your screen, 269-998-2384. I've been a realtor for over 30 years. Hey, if you want somebody to shoot you straight, tell you what sucks about a property, what is good or what is not good about that property you're looking at, whether it's, vacant land, new house, used house, commercial property. Hey, I get paid to run my mouth, and let me tell you, I enjoy doing it. So if you want somebody who's going to help educate you on some of the rights, wrongs, and indifference with the property, give me a call, shoot me a text. I'll save you some time, save you some money, and a few headaches. All right, with all that out of the way, let's go get this show a rocking and a rolling and a going, and let's head over into 5 headlines now. By the way, this offseason, I'm going to have to spend a day and working on some new intros and different stuff with it. Hey, got to change it up from time to time, and now that the next season is here, probably need to start focusing on a few of those things. All right, moving on to it. Lions urge to add former number 2 overall pick quarterback this offseason, the heavy story by Nathan Doherty. And you know what? When I look at this story, I was like, I don't know about this. But then I started thinking about it more and more. I think it might not be a bad move. Not bad at all. You look across the NFL this past season, you see how many quarterbacks that were left for dead that kind of revitalized their career. And I do think you're starting to see a trend with that. This story has to do with Zach Wilson. We all know about the story about Zach Wilson, dating a teammate's mom or whatever, all the other stuff. I do think the kid came in and was not put in an ideal situation with the Jets. I do think his growth or development was really skewed by asking too much out of him too soon, plus having a lot of instability with the Jets offensive system. You saw that kind of translate even to an all-world, all-pro quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. With that being said, he's gone over to Denver. He's gotten a little bit more conditioning, a little bit more development. For a backup quarterback, I might be interested in going and getting him. Now, what are you going to do with Hendon Hooker? We'll dive into that during the main topic of the day. But as Nathan Doherty points out, hey, Wilson's still young. He's got a lot of upside. All the raw metrics that everybody liked with this kid coming into the NFL draft, that's all still there. But now he's seasoned a little bit more. I'm not going to say he's ever going to be all-world, all-pro, even very good. But for a very minimal cost to sign him to a contract, I think why wouldn't you take a chance on him and see if he could be somebody that could be grown, developed, and then maybe in a few seasons be the heir apparent for Jared Goff. What do you guys think on this? I like the idea of getting something for nothing, especially when it comes to high draft pick quarterbacks that were kind of pushed into a bad situation. Maybe you can revitalize their career, bring them up to speed, and kind of tap into that potential everybody once upon a time seen with them. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, but I wouldn't have a problem with it. All right, I might keep him away from my mom, though. Let's see. Lions adding intriguing college coach to 2025 staff. Story by Jovan Alford of Fanside. And this came out yesterday. Unfortunately, it was a game day for my team, so I couldn't really get this over to you guys. But I do like a lot of the hires the Lions have been making with their coaching staff. For those who don't know, former Ohio State coach Tyler Rosell joins the Lions coaching staff. Expected to be hired to be formally introduced later today, but it sounds like from all reports it's a done deal. Now, for those who don't know, he spent 10 years at North Dakota State serving as the offensive coordinator and tight ends / running backs coach. After doing great things with the Bison offense, Rosell decided to take his talents to the FBS level. So he's got a lot of experience, a lot of different areas on offense. If you guys remember last week, Lions did go kind of outside the box thinking, I guess you could say, by hiring former NFL quarterback Bruce Gradkowski as an offensive assistant. Gradkowski was a former NFL quarterback who spent the past 2 seasons as an offensive coordinator for the XFL, UFL. So somebody who's gotten some reps, maybe a different league, but still that translates from one league to the other. If you can coach offense, you can coach defense. It usually doesn't change a whole lot based on leagues, at least not at the professional ranks, I would say. So I like these coaching hires. What do you guys have to say about it? Dan Campbell has been known to roll the dice on coaches that don't have as much experience or as a bigger resume. And I'd say at this point, we could all agree that it is paid off. Will it do so again? We'll have to wait and see. All right, moving on to the next of the 5 glorious headlines now. Lions trade prediction adds 6-time Pro Bowler to form a legendary pass rush duo. Sporting News, Mike Moratis with this one. We all get this one. I get it. You've heard it, 20 different times, maybe even 4,000 different times at this point. But hey, Myles Garrett to the Detroit Lions. It's not going away anytime soon this offseason. But as we had talked about, Mike Moratis has kind of detailed some information. Did have an interview that happened yesterday with Myles Garrett when he was talking to Teddy Bruschi, the former NFL player. He says in a nutshell, and I'm paraphrasing here, so it's not a direct quote from Myles Garrett, but he's going to do whatever he can to get out of Cleveland. He wants out. He wants a chance to win. He does not believe the Browns are competitive and not going to be competitive this upcoming season or the following one. He believes it's a bit, and again, I'm paraphrasing, a bit of a mess over there. He's given his all there. He loves the fans, loves the city, loves the area, but he also understands Father Time is not kind to any NFL player or pro sports player. He thinks he's got about a 3 to 4 year window to really stay at his position at a high level of play and impact the team. He does mention a couple of different teams that have kind of piqued his interest, and yes, the Detroit Lions are one of them. Will it be able to happen? Here's where Mike Moratis kind of breaks down the cost. He does anticipate, like you've probably heard it 40 different other times, it's probably going to require 2 first-round picks from the Lions and then a day 2 pick. Maybe even a player to be named later to be thrown in. Me, myself, and I don't want to give up that kind of haul for it. But you know what? They don't ask me if will Brad Holmes do it. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But this story, I know some of us are kind of tired of hearing about it, but it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's going to stick around anytime he offers more information about it or something else comes up on it. You know what? People are going to jump on it. All right, Lions 2024 review. Safety duo is best in the NFL. This story is from the Detroit Lions on SI.com by Christian Bohr. We've been talking about it all season. We talked about it all season. Maybe that's a better way to word it. But I think about week 3 or 4 of the past NFL season, you guys and I, we all started talking about how good this secondary is looking as far as the safety room. And whether or not you want to throw Ife Melifanu in it later on, who knows? But we're going to just focus on just Branch and Kirby. And you know what? They probably are the best safety duo in the NFL. And think about how young they are. Kirby Joseph is going to get paid. We all get it. At some point, Brian Branch will get paid as well. We can also say these two offer the Detroit Lions and Kelvin Shepard for the foreseeable future a whole lot of flexibility out there. You've got two guys that are great at what they do. Kirby, once upon a time, maybe one of the better guys in the NFL at just single high safety, going sideline to sideline, rovering. But this year, he did show me at least his defense, his techniques, etc., in man-to-man coverage have really grown from his rookie year to his second year, etc., etc., etc. Brian Branch, we get it. You can play him, cornerback. You can play him safety. You can play him linebacker. He is just multi-dimensional and offers so much flexibility. I think Kelvin Shepard and the Lions are going to take advantage of them more and more, especially if the pass rush does develop this season. How good can both of these guys be? Well, you got a Pro Bowler on one side, you got an All-Pro on the other side, and I don't anticipate that changing at least the next 2 to 3 seasons. All right, Lions take small school stud to keep offensive line a strength in new ESPN mock. Sideline report, Brad Berryman with this one. And I'll be fair, I was not aware of who this kid really was. It just, right, wrong, or different, I just hadn't done enough research on him. But Greg Zabel is expected to be the Lions pick at number 28, at least in this mock draft. Now, for those who don't know, yes, he's played at a lower level of school, of college football. Yes, some people are already trying to compare him going into the scouting combine, etc., to Quentin Mitchell in 2024. Zabel dominated the lower levels. He's shown a lot of stuff, and people want to see how he did the Senior Bowl and all that stuff a week or so ago, and he dominated there. So could he be somebody of interest for the Lions? I will at least say we want to probably take a peek at him here and there when possible, because we've talked about with John Morton coming in, it's my belief he's going to want to bring in more mobile interior offensive linemen so they can get them out in space on screen passes or in the running game on pulls or trap plays, etc. This kid fits that, and watch his upper body strength. He gets hands on people. He is moving people, even people that are 20 or 30 pounds heavier than her. This kid's got some real God-given gifts when it comes to upper body and, to be fair, lower body strength. He's mobile. He's athletic. He's 6'5". Different reports vary. He's anywhere from 310 to 320 pounds. So he's not a behemoth like a 360-pound guy, but that's probably why he's more mobile, right? I like the idea of the Lions keeping the offensive line to strength. I do think the Lions are in a position where they could go offensive line, defensive line, really whatever they want to go. If they feel there's a player of interest at 28 that is clearly a better player than most the other options to him, they can just go with that guy. I don't think there's just that massive pressing need anywhere across the board on this team where they have to force a pick. The other part of that is as well, Brad Holmes typically has never done that. He's just gone with the best players available, and that seems to be paying off for the Detroit Lions. All right, with all that done out of the way, let's go ahead and get you guys over to the main topic of the day. All right, when you think of the Detroit Lions in the past few drafts, we're all probably on the same board here. They've rolled the dice. They've made some trades. They've done some things to acquire people they believe are undervalued, but for whatever reason, why ever they're still available at that spot, the Lions saw a lot of potential in them. Let's go through these, just a couple at a time. Let's start with Hendon Hooker. I think if you guys remember the day he was drafted, right after the Lions drafted him, there was something like 3 or 4, maybe it was 5 teams that traded out of those spots immediately after Detroit selected Hendon Hooker. It's my belief everybody had the same grade, the same information on him, tons of upside, would have been, a high second rounder, maybe late first rounder if he didn't have the torn up knee that he had to recover from. So you knew his rookie year was going to be a wash. You weren't going to get anything out of him. And then last year you seen him take the field. There was some good with him. There was going to be some bad with him. But what do you do if you're Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions with Hendon Hooker? He's not going to supplant Jared Goff. There are rumors he could be traded or moved on from. Or do you just keep him as the backup quarterback? You've got a couple years left on his rookie deal. Do you just say, hey, we're going to keep him growing, keep him developing, and when his contract's done, we're moving off? That's going to be one of the big questions for him. He's got wheels. He's got a cannon. He is not a small human being by any stretch, especially for a quarterback. There's a lot of potential there, but the worry sign for most Lions fans are going to be this. When the Lions made it to the postseason, who was your backup quarterback? It was Teddy Bridgewater, a guy who had just got done winning a state championship in football as a coach down in Florida. And I'd like to believe the reason why the Lions went that way is because just Teddy Bridgewater's played tons of NFL games. Hendon Hooker has not yet in his career. So were they protecting Hooker, or is that a damning statement against Hooker that, hey, we don't think he'd do it if we put him out there? I don't know. I'll let you guys debate it. The next one on the list is going to be Kobe Sorsdale. And yes, I always murder his name. You saw his rookie year, some potential out of him. You also saw some big downsides when at times he got on the field and he just looked lost and confused. It was like having a revolving door on the offensive line that somebody could go after either the running back or the quarterback. Year 2, we hear he improved a lot, but we never really seen him in the games. So what do we know? This will be a pivotal year for him because it's either donezo time for him or it's an opportunity for him to really try to push for being a key backup, or could he potentially take over one of the guard spots if Kevin Zeitler doesn't resign? I do believe Christian Mahogany, nobody's knocking that kid out of the lineup. The Lions struck gold, struck a diamond, whatever you say. They stole a blue chip player in the 6th round when they got him, it would appear. So what do you do with Colby? Is he just going to be a backup offensive lineman, or do you just flat out move on from him? These next couple of months for him, I think, are do or die for his NFL career. Because if he doesn't make it past the draft and free agency, if they move on from him, I just don't see another team really picking him up. So it's all or nothing from him at this point. All right, let's move on from him to Enos Rakestraw. Now, hey, it's never helpful for a player, or hey, it's just tough. Maybe I should word it that way. It's tough when other teams hit on a player your same position later in the draft, and you see that guy in the Super Bowl or whatever else running around, scoring touchdowns, etc. Rakestraw, I think all of us agree, the Lions kind of do what Brad Holmes does. They got a guy who could have been a first-round pick if he didn't have the torn up, what was it, a oblique muscle or something like that in his abdomen area, which is why he couldn't run as fast or perform as well at the NFL combine, scouting combine, and then it really impacted him early in the season. Then he had a hamstring injury that apparently took, like 2.5 months to heal. Whatever it is, his growth and development was probably slowed his rookie year. I'm going to cut a cornerback all the slack in the world because, in my opinion, outside of quarterback, cornerback is the second most difficult position, in my opinion, in the NFL to learn as a rookie. So you're battling injuries, you're battling bigger guys, and you're just not getting the reps you once did. It's going to be a real tell where things are with him, 4 months from now, as far as his future in Detroit. I do think he's going to go one of two ways. He's going to be a home run pick, or he's going to be a complete bust. I don't see there being a middle ground for him. I do think he's freaky athletic. I do think he's freaky fast. He's got some great hip movement, huge flexibility, especially agility. I could see next year, if he's really trending upwards, he could maybe handle some punt or kickoff return duties for this team because he is that athletic. But he's the guy, I'm going to say, has all the potential in the world. We just need to see it, and he's going to have to prove he can stay healthy. All right, the second on the list, I'm less worried about this guy than maybe some of the other guys on the list, and that's Giovanni Manu. You hear the coaches talk about him. You've seen a little bit of him in preseason, and I'll just put it out there this way. When I saw him in the preseason, and you guys can have your own thoughts, I think he looked vastly improved over what you saw on the tapes from college. His technique was much better. His hand placement was noticeably better. His movement with his feet, especially his first step back as a tackle, I thought all that looked much more cleared up. It's my anticipation when we get to next year's preseason, that's going to be much, much improved over that. So I'm not as worried about Gio just because he's got such size, such athleticism. If they move on from Dan Skipper, I think he's a big Giovanni Manu is a big reason why, because he can kind of assume that role, continue to develop, and then maybe either this season or the following season step into a more permanent role starting for the Detroit Lions offense. Again, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what he proves, but he's out of this list. He's probably the one I'm least concerned about. Now, the big name on the list, talk about he's either going to be a stud or a dud. It's probably Broderick Martin. We all get it when the Lions traded up. I think most fans, if I remember the draft right, most fans were incredibly happy because when you saw just the numbers on this kid, when he saw the 40-yard dash, when he saw the weight, when he saw the bench reps, the whole shebang-a-bang, you're like, my goodness, this guy's Warren Sapp 2.0. He is a genetic freak of nature. You might as well give this guy an S on his chest and in a cape because he's Superman. And to be fair, sort of like Giovanni Manu, sort of like Enoch Raystraw, they're all genetic freaks in their own ways. Broderick Martin, without doubt, when we saw the start of last season but with OTAs, and you'd seen how much he trimmed down, masked up, strength-wise, whatever, I mean, he looked chiseled for a guy his size. And I do think this is going to be the most important 3 months, 4 months, whatever you want to say, ever in his football life. When he gets back onto the field for the Detroit Lions and OTAs, he's got to win, maybe not a starting spot for the Detroit Lions, although that would probably be great for them if he could make that kind of leap. But he's got to be a sound rotational piece where they're saying, hey, Kyle Pico or some of these other guys that kind of beat him up the depth chart, he's now that guy. He's the number 3 defensive tackle. If he's number 4 or 5, then they've really invested some good draft capital in this cat, and he's not going to pay off on that dividend. We all get it. He's got all the physical stuff you and I can't coach or teach. It's going to come down to how much he's really grown. Most of these guys, not all of them, did come from kind of smaller schools, colleges. So making that big leap does take some time. Not always, but it does take some time. When I look at Manu, when I look at Broderick Martin, I think they're in very similar situations. Manu, for whatever reason, so far looks like he's hitting that peak, hitting that promise. Martin, I think a lot of us have some raised eyebrows and question marks if he's going to do it. Hendon Hooker, in my opinion, he just needs a situation where he can get on the field. And I know there's all sorts of reports out there. Hey, the Raiders are going to trade for him. Tennessee Titans are going to trade for him. You know, whoever is going to trade for him. I'm just not so sure because, again, it comes down to if the Lions, in my eyes, if the Lions aren't putting him on the field, why would I give you any kind of draft capital for him if you don't even have faith in him? Is somebody going to really sink their franchise into a guy that fits that scenario where, hey, this guy's going to be the starting quarterback for us? I don't know. Maybe they have enough tape on where like, yeah, we can make this work. Maybe we just trade you, I don't know, a 6-pack of Mountain Dew and a delicious hot dog from Circle K or something else. I don't know. Scoresdale, he's probably the one on the list I'm least optimistic about, but he does have the metrics. He does have the size. He's got a lot of things going for him. I just think he's probably the one that's going to be on the outside looking in. All right, Duke Crew, you've heard me ramble on for probably way too long on these gentlemen in other topics. What say you on these guys? Who is the one you feel let me put it in the comment section. Who do you feel like you're the most confident in that's going to impact the team next year? Who's the one you're least confident in? Who's going to make impact the team? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me scroll up to the top of the screen, and then we'll get the show going as far as the Duke Crew comment section. All right, here we go. Michael, greetings and salutations, coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation points, one pride. Back at you, Michael. Good to see you this morning. Scar, good morning, Duke Crew. Hump day halfway. Are you ready for the weekend? Everybody's working for the weekend. Somebody once told me, hey, good to see you last night at the game. Sorry I didn't get an opportunity to talk to you. Sounds like Jen did, though. All right, Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point, yes. We have drafted some developmental players the past few years. We need those investments to now pay off. Yeah, if the Lions hit on I guess I would look at it this way. If we hit on half of these guys, and there's some other guys, Sion Vaki, you could probably throw into that mix too, and maybe some other guys I'm not really thinking of. But if you hit on half of them, I think you're doing pretty well. If you hit on 75% of it, you're crushing it. If somehow all of them make it to where they're impacting the team, man, give Brad Holmes all of his flowers and delicious Mountain Dew. Michael, I agree. Stephanie, all right. Detroit D, greetings, salutations to my Duke Crew family. One pride. Good to see you, D, this morning. Hopefully you are having a phenomenal start of your day. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Coach, do you ever have a weekend? I do. It's just, I enjoy working. So feels like you are the type that never stops working. I'm really hoping Martin, Rake, and Manu can pay off the hype. Yeah, 100%. They all have their abilities. They all have some, like I said earlier, in my eyes, they're genetically rare people. When you do scouting or coaching, mostly as a scout, one of the first things I'm asked to go do is identify rareness. And that changes from sport to sport. But each of these guys, Ray Straw is freaky fast, freaky agile. He is rare in those regards. So if they can develop him, he will be a massive home run. Same with Martin, same with Manu. They're just uncoachable what they have. So maybe that's the way to put it. Let's see, Robert, greetings and salutations to all my doers and Daniel. Back at you, Robert. Brent, good morning, Duke Crew. Martin and Sorsdale need to show something next season or move on. Yeah, they're probably both in that do or die mode. So yeah, I hope they pay off. Tori, good morning, Duke Crew regulars. Michael, Stephanie, Detroit D, Trey Tipson, Robert, Yankee, and Brett DeWitt. Yes, good morning to all of you. Robert, the future looks bright. I think so. And again, they don't have to hit on everybody. It would be nice if they did, but I think they're going to hit on quite a few of them, or at least that's my hope. Troy, we may not have as been of needs across the board if these younger players do indeed impact line. Yeah, we may not have as many needs across the board. Okay. Yeah, if these guys really do grow and develop, and the Lions feel like they're going to, that's going to impact free agency. That's definitely going to impact the draft. So it could really help out. Obviously, the more players develop, the better you're going to be. Robert, good AM, Tori. Are you famous yet? We'll find out. Michael D, morning, Tori. Troy D, good morning. Morning to you, Tori Apple. There you go. Brett, morning, Tori. Clark, what happened? What is happening, you wild and crazy people? Question mark. Martin is in I see what you did here. Do or die mode. Same with Mount Colby. Hey, Mount Colby, I got it. All right, Hooker it gets traded, I believe. He could be. Now, just what would you get for trading Hendon Hooker? That's probably my big thought there. Anymore, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Thank you for that. What a day to be a Lions fan. Go Lions. Woo! Back at you. Moonscar. For those that asked, I was informed that Neat Cap, Jeremy, JB is all right. Just taking some time off to deal with some personal issues. Sounds like he'll be back to doing his channel sometimes in March. Hey, there you go. Glad hopefully he's okay. Silver Surfer, guess who? Broderick Martin. 100%. Silver Surfer, good morning, Coach. Back at you. John King, good morning, Coach and crew. Hooker is the guy I'm most interested in. I mean, let's face it, he's the quarterback on the list, so he's always going to have a ton of eyes on him, because if you can hit on quarterbacks, especially mid-round ones, you are really, really doing yourself a solid. What's going to happen with him? I don't know. I can't wait. I hope I can see him out there in the preseason games, and he just looks vastly improved. I liked him last year in the preseason. I just want to see more of it and see that he's clearly progressing. If he does, then you probably do have some trade value for him. Jess, great sanitation. Personally speaking, B. Mart and Rake really need to show me something. Hooker is not good. The team went and brought back a high school coach to be the backup quarterback. Sorsdale is nothing. Hoping I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean, I get there's a lot of worries because you did bring in Teddy Bridgewater to be the playoff backup quarterback. We'll see what shakes out. Let's see. Silver Server, Kenneth Grant is a phenomenon. Get him if you can. Exclamation point. The interior defensive line is the most critical part of the defense. It all starts from there. Disruptive in the middle. Freeze the edges. Yes, I agree with that. And I think the Lions probably are going to be looking either draft or free agency to bolster that. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations. Shout out to you, Coach. I watched your team play last night online. Dang, your team can score! Exclamation point. Laughing out loud. I'm not used to watching high school games like that. Even your bigs handle it and shoot the threes. Yeah, just one thing I've always done throughout my career is, hey, since the 90s, I was taught, real early as a coach, the basketball was evolving to become positionalist. It wasn't like when I grew up when, hey, you're a point guard, you're the center, you're the power forward, etc. And so that's just something I've always kind of taught to all the kids. Whoever you are, you got to be able to dribble, pass, and shoot. If you can do that, hustle your butt off on D, you know what? You'll become a basketball player, not a position. Anymore, as the smoke of cedar and sage clears in front of his elderly eyes, the old shaman speaks. The Lions win the Super Bowl. I like the way you're thinking anymore. I like it a lot. Silver, same for the offensive line. If the center and the guard struggle, the offensive tackle will as well. Yeah, 100%. I think you saw that, in my opinion, some of the people that said Decker struggled this year, I do think there's a symbiotic relationship between how Decker performed and how Glasgow performed. Let's see. And we sure need Cansey instead of Campbell. And is just me crying on spilled milk. Yeah, all we can do is move on at this point, but I get what you're saying there about Campbell. Let's see. Stephanie, Big Eddie, his teams always have been like that. I played Trev for him, and we had a 6'5" girl who he made play the point at times. She learned to hit from range and handle it in the open court. Yes, she did. Asia Robeson. France, I agree with trading Hooker. If he has any value, his age is working against him. Hate saying it, but there's probably a lot of truth to that, France, that, he's not going to get any younger. He's already a little bit older quarterback. The only thing I would say is you look at people like Kurt Warner or Warren Moon or, what's his name? Kelly, who played for Buffalo. They were all a little bit older by the time they hit the NFL, although you could say with Moon and Kelly that they were playing in a different league, which, they were still getting reps. Silver, okay, the same is for the offensive line. When the middle struggles, OG and center, the tackles tend to struggle as well. Correct. Man Bear, good morning, all. Today is the day you want to get something special for the lady in your life. Yes, Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. Five Fingers Freddy, good morning, Do Crew. If you can hit on at least a few of these guys, we will have done reasonably well with some of our gambles. Yeah, I'll go with that. Susan, good morning, all. I believe Manu and Kobe will pan out. Those two, along with Christian, will add a lot to the offensive line for the next few years. Correct. Again, it's limited sample with Mahogany's, but man, that limited sample looked pretty dang good. Let's hope the rest pan out too. Virgil, Stephanie Wilder, how long did you play for Coach? A few years. I can't remember how many, but in a lot of different areas. Let's see. Silver, I say Reynolds, Barnes, and even the tall receiver are all gone. The receiver was great. Tim Patrick, I'm assuming you're talking about. But I would not be surprised if they look for some more explosiveness. Okay. So small. Vaki should be on the list still too. Still not sure why we drafted him, let alone trade up. There are going to be some people that wonder about it because you didn't really see a huge impact from him, but it was his rookie year. Maybe they're thinking more long-term like with some of these picks. Coach, what about our wide receiver Green? Question mark. Will he be back after a neck injury or is he already gone? Yeah, I think they let him go with an injury settlement. Don't hold me to that, Silver, but I think that's what I recall. All right, Detroit D, if Hooker doesn't show us anything in the preseason, we can just let him go or trade him or cut him. Yeah, it's probably, hate saying it, but it probably is do or die time for him. Moonscar, I got to the game last night with 4+ minutes to go, so I got to watch the younger Lady Red Wolves get some experience. Future looks good, working as a team. Yeah, they're doing some good stuff. We're trying to develop all the team. We have 2 seniors on the team. They're very big, impactful seniors, but there will be a lot of returning players the following year. Silver, Sosimo, Vaki, another wasted pick. I believe that's wasted. We really thought they were getting smart and cute, but I believe that his best chances are still at safety. Maybe, could be. We'll see what ends up happening with him. Let's see, Stephanie. Richard Rose, about 8 seasons in total, 3 in travel, high school age, 2 in college, and 2 or 3 at the Chicago Sky and Euro. Yeah, I do remember you playing professionally and helping me teach some of the people the run and shoot offense. Let's see, Voltron, what's the chance of any of these listed players pan out? I don't know. I think there's reasonable expectations for all of them. Now, will they all make it? No, I don't think that's going to be reasonable. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they all end up being huge players for the team. But if we get 3, maybe 4 of them to pan out, that would be huge. Anymore, trade Hooker. He's nothing special except good trade capital. Okay. Let's see. Johnny L. Good morning, everybody. Hope all is well. Back at you. Pat, we would get 0 for Hooker. Why would anyone give him anything for a guy we won't even put on the field? That would be the other part of it, too. I'm not sure we would get anything. Maybe a 7th rounder. I don't know. Maybe. Dennis, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Go Lions. Back at you. Good to see you, my friend. Detroit D, my gut is telling me Brad isn't going to bring in any big-time defensive end opposite Hutch. He wants to do it by committee. You could be right on that, man. I know there's all the speculation in the world that we're going to get this guy, that guy, whatever. The only one that would really seem like a Brad Holmes type of move would be somebody like Trey Hendrickson, just because you could probably get him for a 4th or 5th round pick, something like that. I just, personally speaking, I know we all want Max Crosby here. We all want Myles Garrett here. I just don't see Brad Holmes and the Lions giving up that amount of capital for him. Miles Mark, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. Sheila, woo! You want a Sheila woo? I'll give you a Sheila woo. 1, 2, 3. And woo you go. Silver, what they think about Hooker is clear. While Daniels and Knicks impressed, to say the least, Hooker was not deemed worthy of the field. He could go. He is 28 years old and at least hasn't played it down. Yeah, not in the well. I guess he did get some mop up time, but really all he did was kind of dink and dunk down the field and take some knees in some of those late blowout games this year. Dave Bink, Manu is the one I still feel the best about. Rake could be fine in time. Yeah, Rake, if he's healed up, whatever this offseason, strengthened up, I do think he's got some upside potential. Manu, it sounds like most of us agree, he's the one that could really be the diamond in the rough. Silver, but then again, Kyle Van Nonen was thought to be a bust. He was. I forgot how many Super Bowls he won and still playing well and sacking quarterbacks. Yeah, the Lions, got the draft right on him. They just didn't know how to use him, and that's probably a damning statement about the coaches he's worked with in Detroit. Silver, and hit it. There we go. Yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Johnny L, what do you got? Just fix it up for next season. Let's do it. Michigan Panther Pride, what's up, everybody? Good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Michael, good morning, Duke Crew. Go Lions. Let's go get us some help, Brad. Yes, let Brad cook and see what he can do. Let's see, Troy D, if Rakestraw can just not get hurt, he will be a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I like everything about him other than he's got to be available, and hopefully this year he will be. John, good morning. Dan, the world-famous Duke Crew, back at you. Keith, good morning, and greetings, salutations, Dan and crew. Same to you, Keith. Moonscar, good morning, Lauren. Hey, what's this? Hey, T-Bone Looks, thank you. No, thank you, man. You know what, just for this, I got to give you how about a 1 and a 2 and a 3? Thanks very much for that, man. I will enjoy a delicious Mountain Dew or 2 or 10 on you. So thank you for that. Chad, the TH historian. Okay, what day is it, Dan? It's hump day. Yes, it is, my friend. Guess what day it is? Good to see you. Mike the Marine, woo! And back at you, Gunny. Robert, the Detroit Lions have achieved their success through the draft. That will continue into the future. Yeah, I just think it's how Brad Holmes believes. I think it's how he operates. I don't suspect that's going to change anytime soon. Let's see, Damian, pancake and eggs, Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation point. It's not what the Lions have done. It's what they are now built to do. Happy offseason. Yes, it is. And this will be a most interesting offseason, in my opinion. Chad, what do you got? Hot take, Brad should have gotten Carter instead of Sonic. There will be some that feel that way. I know there was somebody, I want to say it was yesterday or the day before in the chat that said, we could have drafted Carter, 6 and traded up to get Sonic. It's true. We could have. I think in that scenario, though, we would probably have missed out on either Laporta or Brian Branch, or maybe both of them, to be fair. Would you be willing to do that? I don't know. I leave that to you guys to debate. T, what do you got? Good to see you. It's been a hot minute since we've seen you. I have seen bad football for so long. I don't want them to mess it up by this run by trying to get Myles Garrett. That would be the thing. We all get it. You're going to have to give up a boatload of picks to acquire them, or players, and I don't think you want to see any of the players leave. Maybe you do. I don't know. But what do you do to acquire something like that? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to trust in the front office to make the right choice. Mark, what do you got? The Detroit Lions, Bobby Lane curse has been partially lifted. It would be, I would wear a number 22 jersey. Fans should have some Bobby Lane jerseys to try and finish breaking the curse so the Lions win more. Hey, I'm down with that, man. Do what you got to do to get the wins. Chad, no to Zach Wilson. He's the 2020 version of Jamarcus Russell. Okay. T, without Sonic, we don't win some of those games. We have a chance to go defense, and O-line and get that Super Bowl. I like the way you're thinking. Ken, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Silver, stick with Jake Fromm. He might be the next Kurt Warner. I did like what I seen on him, especially since that was basically he had, 1 day of practice before he went out for that preseason game. And, yeah, he lit it up. What could he do with some actual practice reps? Let's see, Chad, the historian, what do you got? Plus, I don't think Jared wants his ma. Oh, boy, here we go. Let's see, Brian, Jake Fromm, but I'd take Wilson too. Okay. Courtney, I saw a good play from where is he? He is with the team. I think he's been on the practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. Mark, what up? My mom and I have been talking about more about a Bobby Lane statue at Ford Field. We need to get Bobby Lane's spirit happy to be able to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm actually surprised with all that he did for the franchise, and he did a lot in his time, that there isn't more recognition for him and some of those guys from the bygone eras, I should say. Courtney, love the idea of Bobby Lane's tribute statue. Yeah, me too. Let's see, Silver, news on Mark Brunell. Nothing official that I've heard. I may have missed it. I am a little distracted when I'm in season, especially getting closer to the playoffs. So if I miss something, you guys let me know in the comment section, but I don't recall hearing anything. Chad, getting Garrett is a step down from getting Crosby. Okay, Crosby. All right, there we go. Johnny V, this is crazy. Don't worry. We'll be fine. All right, I'll go with that. Thank you for that, Johnny. 313, good to see you. Good morning. Good morning, Coach. Let's make some noise this free agency. I wonder if we will. We do have the money. Now, will they pull the trigger on some guys? Wait and see. Chad, Branch needs to tape his fingers down. Okay. Detroit D, we have 218 in the chat. Hit that like button, Duke Crew. Thank you for that. Yeah, I show we're a little over 500. So, hey, if everybody could just take a half second, hit that subscribe button, that like button, I surely would be thankful. Eddie's Fish, good morning, by the way, Eddie. I think the Lions might trade Hendon Hooker, and I know this Brad Holmes reach in last year's draft. They should draft the best players that fit their defensive needs instead of reaching for players. Could be what they do. Let's see what they do in time. Eddie's Fish, I think that the Lions need to make defensive changes as far as coverage schemes because the Lions DBs and the drafted players that are not injury prone. Yeah, it'd be nice to get guys that aren't injured all the time. Keith, do we need to make trades? Question mark. Just getting our team healthy is just making a trade, or is it just making trades? We are adding a Hutch just to start. Go Lions, Super Bowl bound, 13-4. Woo! Yeah, I would love it if we go another 13-win season next year and then do some real damage in the playoffs. Mark, it would be nice for the Lions higher ups to try to do another ceremony. Totally lift the curse of Bobby Lane, make the Super Bowl and win it. Detroit Lions fans with Bobby Lane jerseys. There you go. I like the idea, especially the statue. Thomas, have mercy! Exclamation point. I just can't get into these mock drafts yet. 2 months away. To even consider the draft right now, foolish. Please, after free agency. Yeah, my primary focus. I've done one mock draft. Probably at some point I'll do another one. Obviously before the draft, but free agency is the first phase up. And let's be fair, what you do in free agency more than likely is going to affect what you do in the draft. Again, yes, make sure our O-line is one of and stays one of the best in the NFL. I like the way you're thinking. X8, good to see you, my friend. They will be lucky to get the 8th round pick and a bag of balls for Hooker. All right, there we go. JK, some game plans are usually built through the draft part. Yeah, I'll go with that. Ken, if our O-line had the injuries our D-line had last year, we wouldn't even made it to the playoffs. You got to keep adding depth. I agree with you. If the offensive line would have been shredded like the defensive line, Goff might have been sacked about 50 times. The running game would have been vastly impacted, and obviously that impacts the passing attack too. Thomas, keep Hooker for trade bait. All right, we'll do that. Silver, I say draft 2 more defensive tackles. Keep Chris Smith. Broderick hopefully will have a chance somewhere else. Okay, there we go. I hope they keep Patty O'Connor too. I like what I saw out of him as either a big end or a defensive tackle. Just how about this? A rotational piece. And same with Eloquent Muhammad. I really thought he showed clear growth and development over his time here in Detroit this season. Brian, trade Hooker and a first-round pick and a 5th or 6th for Garrett. Get their 7th-round pick in return next year. All right. Civil Service Sorsdale, I forgot about him. Coach, the kid is a good as gone. He might be. This will be a key few months for him. I won't be surprised if they move on from him. Thomas Silver, one of those defensive linemen from Michigan would be great. It would be. JK, there's always a quarterback needy team that Hooker might get sold to part. All right? Yeah, it could be. Could be indeed. Mark, Lions fans to wear Bobby Lane jerseys the entire football season, coming 2026 football season. Detroit Lions staff will make tons of money from the jerseys. All right? Ken, Glasgow needs to be a backup. I agree at this point. Decker's play has dropped, and Ragnow could retire at any time. Yeah, I do wonder if some of Decker's problems were trying to help cover for Glasgow. I don't know that for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if next year when Christian Mahogany's out there, we look at Taylor Decker and go, wow, he looks revitalized. Chad, I think Waterboy is the second hardest position to learn behind the quarterback. Everyone has different tastes and keep 53 different drinks straight and where to deliver them, that's difficult. Well, I'll go with that. Could be good inside intel. Thomas, my fear with Rakestraw is injuries. Hey, right now, that's legitimate. He was hurt big in college and first year with Lions. The talent is there. Dump Martin if he doesn't show something in preseason. Oh, okay. Philly, I like the content because Coach has credibility and is talking about potential. Coach does scouting for a living. I do. How refreshing to listen to someone who really knows what they're talking about. You know, scouting is the only thing I was saying. I know I did a video last offseason on it. Maybe I'll do another one this offseason. There's just different things you look for. The one thing I will say with the Lions when it comes to the guys on this screen is each of them are genetically rare in that regard. So, you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but each of them, you look at other guys in the NFL. What do these guys have over those other guys at their similar positions? They have a lot of genetic rarity. Now, can you coach them up? If you do that and you get them to stick, they have the right personalities, you probably do have a lot of diamonds in the rough here. Chad, the story, genetic freaks send for the Steiner. Okay. Hey, Vape, ask yourselves, did Green Bay trade Favre? Did they trade Rodgers or did they trade Love? Why the heck would the Lions trade Hooker? Okay, I'll go with that. Eddie's Fish, Lions could resign Dan Skipper, and if they do not sign, fire ownership and Brad Holmes. Okay, we'll go with that. Thomas Martin, don't care about his numbers. I care about tape. He's shown squat. Yes, this will be a big offseason for him. He's got to show something at this point. Let's see, Mark, the Lions have been winning games, but there has been too many injuries in Lions staff running to the other teams and not thinking about our team, all because of the Bobby Lane curse. Okay? Philly, these 20-something self-important media types make their own news, then report on the story they made. Okay, I'll go with that. Could be. Chad, Raiders, question mark, Hooker for Crosby? Man, if we could trade Hooker for Crosby straight up, I'd do that right now, man. I'd even kick in 2 Mountain Dews. Thomas, Martin, in 2 years, can't even stay low. How long will it take him just to learn the leverage? That's the question only the coaches can answer, but I think we all get it from the guys on the list. There's a lot of importance with a few of these guys. They got to hit now. Rakestraw probably has another year with them. Same with Manu, although Manu, from at least what we saw on tape this year, he looked like he was developing quickly. Hey, babe, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Woo! Super Bowl 2026 is coming unless they lose their first game in the playoffs again. For that, they are St. Louis Lions, in your opinion. Let's hope they don't then. Let's hope they don't. Thomas Skipper, keep him, all right? I wouldn't be mad if they keep him. JK, let's fix the injury bug. The roster already Super Bowl contenders part. I'll go with that. Ken, Broderick Martin plays soft, needs to develop a bad man attitude 100%, man. Get the what's his name? Rick Mahorn from the Pistons to toughen him up. Mark, another thing about Bobby Lane curse, too many injuries. That's why the Lions can't make it to the Super Bowl. The curse gets totally broken. Lions will make it to the Super Bowl and win it all. I'll go with that. Philly, if Zettler stays, Glasgow is a backup. If he retires, Glasgow at right guard, Mahogany to left. Could be just that. Thomas, I'll say this. If we do not get an opposing stud with Hutch, we will end up 14-3 and losing the playoffs. Okay. Let's see, Thomas Philly, you are right, except never again is Glasgow a starter. Might be, could be. Mark, did the Detroit Lions totally love the curse of Bobby Lane, and the Lions make it to the Super Bowl? Win it? Okay, we got to handle that curse. Troy D, if he doesn't have that dog already in him, then let him go. I agree with that. Jim, Martin needs to hoe. Well, maybe that will help him out. See, Keith, trades. Yes, exclamation point. I want the Lions to add Garrett, draft Green. I would like Green, yeah, especially if they can add a little weight to him. Yeah, put 10, 15, 20 pounds on him. We have the best offensive line in defense in the NFL. Go Lions, Super Bowl bound. Woo! I'm down with that. Keith, I would like to see the offensive lineman out of William & Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, get a chance to play. He has some upside. I'll take a peek at him. Clearly, Glasgow is a natural right guard center. Left guard is not his natural position. Yeah, and he did struggle this year, unlike the year before. I'd say, Mark, I think Detroit Lions totally break the curse of Bobby Lane. Well, let's hope they do. Thomas, Ken, you are right, but Martin in 2 years hasn't even learned leverage. Number one, most important thing for a defense lineman. I would go with that. Let's see, JK, when Goff retires, Hooker will be 60 years old. That could be true. Philly, I think since quarterbacks play well into their 30s, it might be patient with Hooker. Yeah, you're seeing more and more hookers, more and more quarterbacks play into the upper 30s, even 40s. So could it be they're just going to take the time with them? It is possible. Yes, I got you, JK. Glasgow is a back only at this point. Lookout block to backfield 3rd and 2. Goff fumbled in playoff game, that and more. Okay, I'll go with that, Thomas. 313, Broski Bear is a racist from what other streams said. Careful with him. Yeah, he's blocked on this channel, man. So he's blocked. I'd say Great Lakes. Hey, Coach, hope you're doing well. And crew, back at you. Good to see you, Great Lakes. I would like to get up and grab a wide receiver for the end zone. Either a good 4th rounder or a really Metcalf is available. Yeah, if they could get Metcalf, I get some of you guys have questions about his personality. Would he be good in the locker room? I haven't seen enough on him nor done enough research to have an opinion one way or the other. If the Lions trade for him, obviously they feel good from him. I'm only going to say from just the product on the field, what would he add with his size, his speed, his strength, his run blocking? Man, I think looking at him, St. Brown, and J-Mo out there, wow. Along with Laporta, let's not forget him, or Gibbs and Monty. That's a whole lot of offense to guard. Philly, racist, never heard Brosi get racial, excuse me. Mark, February 8th, 2026 is my birthday. Seeing the Lions seeing the Lions win it would be good for my birthday present for me. Go Lions. Hey, hopefully we can get that done for you. JK, there's 2 broskies. I was told one is fake, the other fake real. Okay. Yes. So JK, Michael, first time commenting. What if we copy the Steelers move and move Hooker to wideout? Well, I have no idea if he's got any abilities out there or not. So maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Johnny Gaz, good morning, Dan and crew. Exclamation point. Have a great Wednesday. Same to you, Johnny. Let me know sometime we can get you back on the show, man. It's been a hot minute. I'd see Great Lakes Hooker's timing would be great, in my opinion. If Goff can't get us to the Super Bowl in the next 3 to 4 years, it might be time to try something else by then. Yeah, could be. And if the coaches at that point feel like he's the answer, hey, you already got him in the house. He knows the system. Thomas, if we do not trade or sign a free agent at defensive end, number 1 pick, go best available, hopefully outside linebacker, defensive lineman, or defensive end. Okay. Great Lakes, I like Tim Patrick, but his speed isn't great, and his vertical appears to be meh. Injuries over time. Yeah, probably they've robbed a little bit from him. Phil, Steph used to be a professional basketball player, special woman, and a very nice review. Oh, boy. Let's see. Vern, let's see. Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Coach, could you imagine getting Garrett with a defensive like that up front? No, we could. No one could run on us. Yeah, I agree with that. JK, Steph Curry. There you go. Philly, don't yell, Vernon. Hey, he does talk in all caps. Great Lakes. A great Vaki in iffy spot or a fast outside linebacker in pass coverage. Maybe that's the idea. Let's see. Robert, I agree. Keep Jake Fromm. Throw them in there. Teach him. Let him be the future. Could be. Steph Cutie. Okay, says Philly. Thomas Vaki as special teams ace. What the HFO you want from him when you have Sonic, Knuckles, and Reynolds ahead of him? Geez, people. Oh, there you go. JK laughing out loud. Great Lakes, don't know how good Hooker is when he has played, 20, 30 snaps in preseason. Yeah, it's you got to go with, if they put him on the field, they obviously have faith in him. Great Lakes, Max is too skinny. There you go. We'll beef him up. Thomas, remember, Vaki can play both O and D special teams. Holy smokes, people. Yeah, he's got some flexibility. JK Hutch's legs looks like a Pinocchio's leg. He needs to beef those legs up. Yeah, and at this point, the good part is he's got several months to put that mass back on that leg. Vernon, okay. Chad, it's not Brad, though. It's Sheila wants Garrett. Sheila gets Garrett. That's the power of the Ford family. Could be true. C Notes, good to see you, my friend, this morning. Trade Hooker so he gets a shot. Hope he doesn't come back to haunt us. Everybody who leaves gets rings like Slay, CJ, in Philly. Yeah, they both did get rings, and good for them, though. Good for them. Thomas, Hooker, I play his butt off in preseason. If he shows something, get something for him, keep from. All right, we'll go with that. Thomas, I hope we draft all defense and one offensive lineman. Could be just that. Gable, Brad should trade Hooker just to be a decent human. Let the kid compete for a starting job somewhere. Guy will be 30 by the time we move on from golf. That might be true. Ben, good morning, Coach Dan. Back at you. Mama Sheila, open up that purse. It's now or never. Been waiting for decades. Yeah, we all have. I don't think she's going to hold back. If they want to spend some money, I think she'll give the okay to it. JK, CJ Gardner-Johnson, ring when he was in Detroit. He was injured. Monger, yeah, he did, and he overcame that injury in impressive time. T-Bone Lokes, thanks again for that this earlier in the show. I'm looking for Wingo to gain the start at some point this season. He is somebody we probably need to talk more about. I thought we saw some good promise out of him this past season. You can still see where he needs to develop, but he was a rookie. This could be a big season for him. Vern, Coach, what about trading for a top receiver? Maybe they do. I know there was speculations about DK Metcalf. Maybe they do. Thomas, CJ Gardner-Johnson told a jerk win the Lions. He got a ring. Don't care. Okay, Mr. Ed, good morning, Coach and crew. If you had to guess, what is Brad working on? Probably draft boards at this point and a few things for free agency. I don't think you're going to see the Lions do anything day one or day two of free agency. I think they're going to let the dust settle a little bit and then try to get some players that are, not overly pricey. Maybe that's the way to word it. I have no faith in Rakestraw. He missed all part of 23 games in college, was not a second-round pick. Okay. It's too bad because he is super talented. Yeah, I love his athleticism. I love a lot of things about him, but he does have to stay healthy. Jim, Tara, look at some really good offensive linemen, defensive line edges in the draft. 100%. I think they're going to be all over it. Thomas, stop at the whine. He could have got Carter. We got 2 All-Pros, 2-1. Carter alone did not win the Super Bowl. Geez, people. Okay. Keith, Mr. Gable, I agree. Let Hooker play somewhere else. Maybe they do. Maybe Tennessee or the Raiders or somebody else trades for him. What about? I won't even throw that out there. Alrighty, I am overly confident in the off season with Brad Holmes, and the Duke Crew GMs. Okay, I'll go with that. See, Corey, Valentine's Day is a stupid holiday, just an excuse to be nice to and sweet to your significant other when you should be that way all the time. I agree with that. Maybe recognize their efforts, though. Great Lakes, Gibbs is a near generational talent. I would go with that. Carter comes along every draft. All right. Hardy, agree. Great Lakes. You get Gibbs every 10 drafts. Carter comes along every year. All right. Keith, let's go get Myles Garrett and shore up the front four. Maybe they do. A-Vape, most of us are most of that so-called curse was owners that didn't want championship. Sheila wants a championship team, so there's no curse. I'll go with that. Moonscar, coaching staff has been updated with all of the new hires, DetroitLions.com. Mark Brunell is still listed at quarterbacks coach. Yeah, I don't think he's out of here yet. Byron, Craig and Hooker in a second and fourth for Max. Maybe. Corey, Hutch is our superstar defensive end. Laughing out loud. What teams have 2 superstar defensive ends? Well, we'll see if we can be one of them. Rumor Kit, Lions need what they've always needed, pass rush. We will be unstoppable. Let's hopefully go get it. All right, guys, we got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to power through, get people on who haven't been on as much. Silent service, looking at OTC, it would cost Cleveland $36.2 in dead cap space to trade Garrett, and they are currently $30 million over the cap. That's why they won't trade Garrett. It's simple, just simply can't. Yeah, they would have to rework some contracts, 100%. Maria, I'd rather have Trey Hendrickson. I think a lot of people aren't feeling that way. Let's see. Brian Dan, if you remember, the Giants wanted Hooker after OTAs and preseason game against them. No Atlanta trade far back in the day. Yeah, I mean, it could be that they make that trade 100%. Hey, Molokes, I see Hooker as the starter if Goff hadn't stepped up. Yeah, it might be. Trim Reaper, what up, Coach and Duke Crew? Woo! Good to see you, my friend. Bye, everyone. We'll see you, Philly. See you next time. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. 100%. Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. Let's see. Chuck E. Cheese. You never take Crosby over Garrett. Are you nuts? If you would have passed on Gibbs or for Carter, they would have a whole different team. And yes, off one pick. I'll go with that. Gun guy. Hooker is a draft asset. It's Goff's team for the next 4 years. I would agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Personalities change quick if you're on a winning team. This is also true. Great Lakes. Very true. Paperback fan, greetings, salutations. Duke Crew, have a great day. Back at you. Chuck E. Cheese. All the lane trashing. Now wear his jersey. Heck no. Curse over. Not real. Okay, fair enough. Henry Moore. Okay, Coach and Duke Crew, have a great and safe day. Travels. There you go. Back at you. Keith, Taron Arden needs development. His offseason, real talk. Yeah, he's got to keep growing, keep developing. 100% there. Great Lakes, yeah, it would be nice to see Hooker get a chance, but if you go deep in the playoffs, good backups are essential. I'll agree with that. Heard Stafford to the Giants possible. Yeah, I've heard his name thrown out with a couple different teams. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and get out of here. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. If you would be so kind before leaving, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Have a great day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.